All right, guys. Good morning. How we doing? It's that time, 4:30 a.m. Let's get down to it. Lots of extra special stuff happening yesterday. There's lots going on in the news today. We are gonna lead with the news, then we'll get to PR, then we'll get to everything kind of else. This is a big deal. Uh, Apparently, there are riots happening around Minneapolis at the moment. Hopefully, guys, I can get my audio fixed. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm gonna try to work on the overlay today, try to fix the audio as well. But okay, I gotta go over here real quick. This, 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 this. Okay, let's get to it. Let's see the news. Let's head to. Yeah, I want to touch base on this, but we'll do that in a little bit here. Um, equity offering. China sanctions are approved. China approved the Hong Kong security law. So let's read both of those. Zuckerberg responds to threats against social media. Carl Icahn gets out of his stake. Okay. Minnesota riots. Man, that's a shame. If you had been hanging out here, you would have heard the breakdown that we had on Boeing, that it is a dog turd and not to go near it. So, I'm really sorry that you're in Boeing, dude. I don't know what to tell you. It's unfortunate that Boeing wasn't able to actually get their space program up and running because Tesla beat them to the launch pad. And even though they didn't take off, Boeing's nowhere near getting that done. And they're focused on getting their 737 MAX back up. And while they've started building them again, they still don't have approval from the FAA. So it's going to be a while for them. It's a rough run for sure. Boeing is a rough beast to be in. National Guard support requested by city to combat riots in southern Minneapolis. I mean, I never get it. I never get it. The protests. This line here is what bugs me the most. Like, I don't understand that mentality of. Oh man. Okay, markets are doing what? Morning, Bella. How you doing? Man, you are up early today. Okay, so we've got indexes up. That's surprising given the China news. Actually, the whole world is up. I wonder if the whole world is aware that that China thing's happening. Oh, I feel you. What's up, Spidey? Um, man, oh man, oh man. Okay, financial sectors are leading the way. Industrials, real estate. Okay, fruit and Brent are down. Almost 12%. Okay, so let's take a look at this stuff here. clear out the list from yesterday. These guys can go. These guys can stay. Go. Stay. Go. These guys can go. Okay. China's largely rubber stamp parliament has passed the controversial national security bill for Hong Kong. Move that raises currency is not subject to the same U.S. tariff and restriction as mainland China due to its high degree of political and legal autonomy. The bill is enacted, however, would represent the first time Beijing has introduced the law that imposes criminal penalties on Hong Kong's legal code and bypassed the sixth legislature. Okay. So that's to be aware of if you're trading the Asian markets, if you're in Hong Kong, or if you're the Hang Seng, like be aware that that's happening. Congress approves China's sanctions. This is going to affect the phase 2 trade deal, which is a bigger deal. House of Representatives approved legislation condemning China for the detention and torture of Muslims after the bill passed overwhelmingly in the Senate earlier this month. Yeah, I mean that's the death of the trade deal, I think. Zuckerberg response to threats against social media. So this was a big one. What's up, Panda? This was a big one, guys. I'm a little bit concerned actually, but this is a big deal. So Trump yesterday evening came out and said he's looking to put an executive order down against social media for their policies against conservative speaking on the platforms. Now, I myself am fairly conservative in my political stance, even as a Canadian. I would be considered extremely conservative as a Canadian. I'm considered fairly conservative as an American. However, this is nothing but an attack on freedom of speech as far as I see it. Now, I understand his argument is, well, it's an attack on freedom of speech the other way as well for these networks to be popping things up on things. And I agree. I agree that there has to be consistency across both. So if you're going to be popping up this fact check thing, when Nancy Pelosi comes out with a tweet saying our new bill is out and it's for the people, there needs to be a fact check on there that it's not actually for the low income people. It's for the people that paid her money on the Democratic Party's last election campaign. So like you have to. I read all 1,800 pages of that bill, and the very small amount that went to low income families is a tragedy. An absolute tragedy when we're talking $3 trillion. More money went directly to pot, to the marijuana and hemp business than low income families on the last bill. I'm not sure that he can't. So here's the muddy water of it, okay? And we'll get to this here. We're moving down the line here. I think he can, and he can on the basis that there is evidence of if not silencing conservative voice, of at least muting them. So what I'm talking about here is, for the most part, Trump, one way or the other. I mean, Trump says a lot of stupid stuff. Okay, but what about this? This is the one for me. If you go to a guy named Michael Burry, okay, for the most part, you guys may or may not have heard of Michael Burry. Hmm. There he is. What's up, Sidebot? Okay, Michael Burry, okay? Some of you might not know Michael Burry by name, but you see this guy right here? You probably know him. His name's Christian Bale, okay? Christian Bale played Michael Burry in the movie The Big Short, okay? Michael Burry is the head of the Scion Fund. He's the guy that It's coming. It's coming, Cybot. The waiter emote is coming. It's being developed as we speak. Um, so, guys, this guy here, he saw the housing bubble before it popped. He's an absolute genius mathematically. He has a PhD. He is a doctor. Um, and until pre-COVID, he had a blue check mark on his name. Now, when COVID came out, Michael Burry started speaking to the data and to the reporting. Um, every single post that he had was there with data from medical reports, from the numbers that we're seeing from statistics, and he was speaking to it directly. So if you wanted fact-based analysis, here's a man who, for a living, breaks down stats, breaks down numbers, breaks down fundamental analysis, technical analysis across the entire world and sees things that nobody sees, okay? And he was putting out, here's the data, here's my analysis of the data, here's my data, here's the analysis of the data, here's my data, here's the analysis of the data. Now, his analysis of the data was that coronavirus is far less potent in the long run to the overall health and well-being of people than this absolute destruction of the economy. So for that, they removed his blue check mark. I feel like this is going to come up in a big way. We see a lot of conservatives out there that speak on platforms like Twitter and get reported and they get removed, and they get their yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, I think there are a lot of people that are right leaning that are tired of being silenced and told to shut up. The Twitter terms of service can say whatever it wants, it still has to abide to the US law. And if US law says that you've got the freedom of speech, and Twitter is stifling or muting people on one side of the spectrum, but not the other, that is very clear bias and infringement of freedom of speech on their part. Now, I don't know that you combat that argument by placing mandated legislation against them. I don't think that that's a solution. That is the nuclear option, and I mean that's where Trump is going, is to the nuclear option. Now, as to the legality of it, yeah. So again, like Twitter terms of service doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, like well, the company said they could do it. That's not how that works. In the U.S., there are laws. Laws supersede your terms of service contract. If Google put into their terms of service that every time you use your Android phone, they get to record the phone call and use it down the road to sell you crap, well, that's still a breach of the law. You can't do that. President Trump's planned executive order for tomorrow could open the door for federal officials to punish social media companies for the way they moderate content. Okay, so it's rethinking Section 230. So that's something I need to read, is Section 230. Okay, so he's tasking the Commerce Department with petitioning the Federal Communications Commission to open proceedings to reconsider the law scope. It would also look to channel complaints about political bias on the platforms to the FTC, which would be pushed to probe content moderation policies and call on federal agencies to review their spending on social media. Well, the draft order that the post saw was a significant ramp of White House rhetoric. Paper notes that how that order might work would largely be up to the FCC and FTC, which are independents. Latest dust up. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Like, and I think that's the big argument here when it comes to these social media platforms, guys. Is are you a repository of conversation globally, which means that anybody should be able to say anything, anytime. And I mean, terms of service, pending anything that's illegal that goes up there. So anything that's pornographic or racial or hatred or anything that would break laws should definitely be reported and blocked. I think we can all generally agree to that. But the position that, right or wrong, that you feel that COVID is less significant than what some others might think it is, that shouldn't be muted. That conversation dialogue should be on equal footing, not, well, people that say that COVID is a big deal should go up here and those that don't should kind of go down here into nothing. That's not how you have healthy debates online. Now, if the argument instead is, well, it's our job as a publication to have the ability to edit, or at least have an editorial process where our editors go through what's okay and what's not. Well, now what you're doing is something different, because now what you've done is you've turned social media, um, you've turned social media into journalism, and there are a whole lot more rules that come with that, and people have to be made acutely aware of what that is. Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, the whole hullabaloo on this one was, Trump put out a tweet saying, if mail-in ballots happens, there's going to be an increased rate of fraud, theft of ballots, people using ballots that aren't their own, people printing ballots and trying to use them, and we're going to see corruption in the state of California as a result on the election. Now, this may not seem like a big deal because people are like, well, California is not a Republican state anyway. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is in the most recent special election in California, a Republican unseated a Democrat, which is showing that there's a bit more of a right lean because people are getting tired of how things are run in California. So what Trump wants to do is make sure that there's at least some level playing ground as they head into the election in California. Now, that being said, for Trump to come out and say that, okay, well, these mail-in ballots are going to increase the rate of theft of ballots, misuse, all of that. The reality is this, guys. We don't know. We don't know until they do it, right? We don't know until they put in the mail-in ballots. We don't have that data. But to the reverse side, if you look at the articles um, that Twitter put up as the fact check, they're conjecture as well. They don't actually provide any insight into any data, anyway, any statistical insight as to why it would be just as safe or safer to use mail-in ballots versus traditional electoral process. So um, it doesn't look good to Twitter that you post a link underneath the President of the United States saying this may not be true, followed with a link to an argument that is conjecture and not fact based. Right? So, well, this may not be true. Please read these facts. You click on the article and the facts don't corroborate what you're trying to put there. Um, yeah, I'm neither here nor there. I don't know. I don't know. Oh yeah, there it is. So the U.S. has requested a UN Security Council meeting for Hong Kong because Canada stepped down from the Security Council. Currently, the Security Council is Russia, China, the U.S., and there's one other party. Unfortunately, China can just say no. It rejects it. Yeah, and I mean, China's just going to keep doing this, and legally, China has the right to do this, guys. So China's rejecting meeting and discussing Hong Kong because it's purely China's internal affairs, which technically they are correct. Hong Kong was uh, a British colonized piece of Asia, and Britain had an agreement with mainland China that it would return Hong Kong to them in a timely manner. We saw that handoff a few years back, saying we are done here, and Britain gave it back. So uh, is Hong Kong going to lose freedom and autonomy under China? Absolutely. However, that's the deal. The deal has always been that you're going to go back to China. You're not going to remain a British colony or an independent nation. You are going to become part of China proper again. And these things were going to happen. Chinese law was going to start to creep into Hong Kong. Now, is it happening sooner than people thought? Absolutely. Technically, it's not supposed to be happening until about 2050, or I'm not entirely sure on that. It might be 2030. It was 50 years after after the declaration. Oh, 1984. So 50 years after, it would be 2034. So they knew that this was coming, and just because they knew that this was coming doesn't mean that they thought that it would actually happen. And that's just general. It's not ignorance; they're just being naive. thinking that China would surely never come in and impose its mainland rules onto Hong Kong, that's seen as this bastion of Asian prosperity. Unfortunately, it did happen. And so what we've got happening now is a younger generation that didn't really wasn't around for all this, right? Like 1984, that I wasn't even born yet. So you've got a younger generation that's living that's been disconnected from this at the very least. I understand the push for pro democracy in Hong Kong. I understand that they love their legal system, their electoral system. I get that. I'm not negating that. But what I am saying is it's very unlikely. I think it's very unlikely that they have any legal ground to stand on with this because it's signed by all parties. I agree that the U.S. shouldn't try to police the world. They don't have to. This is not China invading India. That's not what's happening here. And I think the U.S. response would be appropriate if that were the case. This is China invading China, and it's tough. It's tough. It is. I get it, and yeah, it's tough. I just don't know that the U.S. has a place in it. And them taking a place in it leads to some scary repercussions, I think, especially with the trade deal. I'm older than you. Yeah, I'm just one of them young pups. Okay, so let's look at this Section 230 thing. No provider interactive computer should be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided. Blah 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 blah. Defendant provider is use of interactive computer service. Defendant information content provider. Sections of shields and interactive many others allegedly unlawful content when they are wholly or partially responsible for production. Okay, so this is the part that is a big deal. So the way that the law stands on social media is this: the platforms themselves are not directly responsible for the publication of everybody else's content. So if somebody comes out on social media like they did with Twitter back in 9/11, where they came out, they made inflammatory, illegal, and frankly terrorist remarks on the platform, Twitter can't be sued for terrorism as a result of the user putting that content out there. That can't happen. Now, if Twitter has decided that it's going to curate and edit content, now they are no longer a catch-all and people are just saying whatever they're saying. Instead, now they're an independent publisher because they're going through an editorial process, which means that everything on their platform, they are now liable for any illegal content that may show up on the platform. And that may not seem like a big deal, but it's actually a massive deal. What it means is you lose your ability by showing a leaning one way or the other and editing the feeds. You show that you are no longer just a catch-all. You are a publisher by definition because you are editing the feed. And when you edit the feed, you are now liable for whatever you print in your publication. So think of it like Twitter, instead of being a conversation around the water cooler, which is what it was designed to be, is now an online newspaper. It has millions and millions of writers, and the editorial process happens not before the content is posted, but after. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so that's Trump and the social media. Screw that. I'm taking less liability. Yeah. Um, I I think people are just gonna saber rattle on this one of like, don't touch my social media. But as somebody who works in the business, I am a digital marketing consultant, and somebody who appreciates social media for what it is. I do think that there is an argument to be made here that needs to be considered. There's definitely, it's not one or two conservatives that are calling out against social media networks for being diminished in their voice or being silenced or being banned, reported, muted, blocked, taken privileges away where they're no longer partnered. I know it's happened on YouTube. I know it's happened on Facebook. I know it's happened on Twitter. I know it's happened on Instagram. I haven't heard of anything on Snapchat, but I imagine it falls along similar rules. There is suppression. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, it exists. It's a reality, and it's something that needs to be addressed publicly. And I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I post fairly conservative opinions and views onto most of my social networks, and I've yet to have anything happen yet. Hashtag delete Facebook. So there was an article here about Zuckerberg responding. I must have closed it. Oh, there it is. Zuckerberg responds to threat. I'll have to understand what they actually would intend to do, but in general, I think the government choosing to censor a platform because they're worried about censorship doesn't exactly strike me as the right reflex. So yeah, Mark and I have the exact same insight on this. Of I don't know that the best way to fix censorship is with, well, I wouldn't call it censorship, but um, they're not asking you to censor a platform. They're asking you to. They're going to legislate how you can censor a platform. So I don't think they're looking to censor anybody. I think they're looking to have it be balls to the wall. You can say whatever you want and let the reporting and blocking system do what it will. Your terms of service, however, can't entail conservative opinions will be removed. We have a different policy than Twitter. I believe strongly that Facebook shouldn't be the arbiter of truth for everything that people say online. I think generally these platform companies shouldn't be in the position of doing that. Yeah. So his thoughts are you can't censor censorship. What's up, Dunhill? Does Zuckerberg have a Twitter account? No. I suppose that makes sense. I suppose I can't hold that against him that he isn't actively using it. Not my Facebook shares, Rip. Um, okay, delete Facebook is trending on Twitter, so that's good. Great. Exactly what we want. Okay, so Hertz, guys, we know. Oh, I doubled snap. Well, yeah, it is that time of morning. Snap, snap. I'm gonna leave it. You really have to watch Snap today, guys. Oh man. Good morning, Levi. How you doing, buddy? Like Adam's family. No, no, no. That's an outdated joke. Only the boomers are gonna get that one. Hertz Global Holdings tumbles 12% on disclosing that Carl Icahn offloads his entire stake. Investments were reversed since 2000, unfortunately because of COVID, which has caused an extreme rapid and substantial decrease in travel. Hertz encountered major financial difficulties. Conclusion to file for bankruptcy yesterday. I sold my equity position at a significant loss, but that does not mean that I So you have faith in the future. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I still believe they're a great company. I'm just getting out. Like, bye, Hertz. Goodbye. I hope everybody got into some puts yesterday on this meteoric rise up. This thing is going to be delisted. Stay away from Hertz. Don't play it. Don't touch it. Okay, so that's it. Let's go over into our press releases and see what is going on. Yes, is today the day? Is today the day? Or is it Molecular Day? Okay. Okay. So let's do that. Burlacidin. We got some news on Burlacidin. Let's go to. Yeah, that's a better publication. Okay, let's go to acquired or acquisition. And here, Dana White confirms. Yeah, he's still an Apple. Okay, I'm not seeing anything in my acquisition folder that's worthwhile, so let's clear that. FDA approval. Johnson Johnson's getting approvals. Another FDA approval. FDA collusion. This is a good announcement. What else we got? Clinical trials. Approves. Art of Sunit. Okay. Novartis is knocking out. GI colonoscopy. Okay. The vaccine race. Yeah. It shouldn't be a race, and it being a race stands to cost us more than we gain. The race has serious implications of causing mutation sooner than it would have naturally occurred. Um, so ACRX got good news twice yesterday. I'm not going to go into it much more. But not only did they get their initial order from the U.S. military for 30 million, is it like a year and a half away? No. It is actually possible that it could be sooner, simply on the basis that there are 3 drugs that I'm aware of that have peer-reviewed medical studies that show 100% inhibition of the virus. So, Burlacidin is having effect. We are seeing WP1122 from Moleculin having an effect. And then there's another one from AstraZeneca that's having a similar effect. So huge results from the 3 of them. It is entirely possible that before Christmas we have something, whether it's a treatment, a vaccine, a cure, who knows, but that's there. There is a potential 4th that is claimed, so Sorrento has made a claim that they have 100%. I don't know that I buy that necessarily, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, hedge funds. Okay. So that's done. That's ACRX. Oh, yeah. So ACRX got their military drug deal and they upped their bid on tetraphase. So that's interesting. Um, Orphan drug designation. Mm. Okay, so there's one. Let's get rid of that. I know you guys can't see that because it's an extension. You can't see me actually looking through this stuff. Uh, MFA Financial. It's just technical analysis on these. Get paid to buy these stocks. I always love getting paid to buy stocks. Yes, please. GameStop. GameStop's a tough one because Google search can't differentiate between people. Thank you, Kimmy. Yeah, my wife and I pulled out the clippers. I just had enough. It's been 39 degrees the past couple of days here, so just super hot for Canada, and I couldn't do that shaggy thing anymore, so I had to cut her back. Um, let's go. GameStop sends letter to stockholders on strength of board. Okay, so there is a back and forth on this that I want to touch on, guys, for all of you that are considering GameStop. I am in GameStop, so I'm going to read it because that's important to me. Upgraded style, lifted. So this guy got lifted to a strong buy. This guy got lifted to a buy. Sell, upgraded to buy. Buy. Okay. So let's go through this here. That's a bunch of articles. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago we had snow here, and now we are in like California weather. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna look forward to going and see my barber, but I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take the heat anymore, and this provides at least a little relief of having it shorter on the sides. Um, okay, guys, what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to go get some water because I am starting to lose my voice here. So I'm gonna go here. And I'm going to run a 60-second break, and I will be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. I will see you very shortly, very soon. I do actually. So like, here's the camera, and directly behind my camera, there's a fan. Um, for exactly that purpose. All right, let's take a look at this here. We are Nasdaq announced that trading in Moleculin is scheduled to resume on Thursday, May 28th at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's halted on May 4th for news, or check under the company symbol. Okay, so let's go to Moleculin directly. I want to know what the information was that was given to us because That's a big deal. Okay, May 27th. Clinical stage pharmaceuticals granted the company's request for pre-IND meeting to provide guidance regarding the company's plans to study its drug candidate in a clinical trial for patients with COVID. May 1st, they submitted a pre-IND to seek guidance on requirements. Toxicology testing plan discussed below. We estimate we should be able to submit our IND application in the second half of this year. More specific timing, while we wait for guidance from the FDA, we continue to move forward with testing on multiple fronts. In that regard, it's helpful to understand the various goals. In order to properly supply the company's planned IND, it has engaged IMQuest, IITRI. The testing done by IMQuest from a surrogate of SARS called human coronavirus strain because it was a validated assay immediately available at IMQuest. Molecular and scientific team and IMQuest consider this to be an appropriate model for SARS, in particular because one of the primary theoretical mechanisms for both TVIQ and wandering is alteration of glycoprotein, yada yada yada, inhibition of glycolysis. We know all this. Well, at least I know all this. So they had a 10-day halt, and then they had an extended halt for additional information because they made the claim that they had a treatment that was 100% effective. 100% effective. When you make a claim of 100% effective against coronavirus, people are going to take a look. Unless you're Sorrento, and then you can say whatever you want, and your stock can go to the moon. So WP1122 was actually built to reduce tumors in the brain. So all this is doing, and it looks like this is clarifying the data on the original study, saying, well, there wasn't original study with data that can be conclusive. You shouldn't take this as 100% fact because we need to do some additional testing as well. So just take it with a grain of salt. It's not that it's wrong. It's not that it's right. But the virus yield demonstrated a 5 to 10-fold inhibition when compared to untreated virus control, which is a huge deal. Okay, great. Great. They're back on the market, boys. They're back on the market. So this is neither confirm nor deny. It doesn't deny the results of the original test. It just says additional testing is also required, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Had the SEC come down and said, well, you have to be delisted, so be it. Scam. Not a scam. Read the medical study on it. I like MBRX either way, on the basis of that drug, that WP1122, is actually shown to help reduce cancer tumors in the brain, which is kind of a huge deal. Now, this is just saying the NASDAQ. I don't see any announcement about the NYSE. So let's check New York Stock Exchange. MBRX is one of the few ones that, reading through their medical reports, I actually don't think it's a scam. I think it's one of the more likely cures that we end up with. Okay, so it's still listed here until 8 a.m. I'll come back and check, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so that's good news. iPix, this is from the 26th. We read this already, so there's nothing new about iPix. J&J gets FDA approval for new pediatric formulation of Certuro. Okay, so let's take a look at that. turn that off. Okay, officials with the FDA has approved this from Stelis Pharma. Search Google for Stelis. It's a Japanese company. Vesicare. Weird. Okay. Well, better safe than sorry. I want to be able to use the bot afterwards, so I can't have you guys hearing the music that was on. Vesicare LS. So it's a Tokyo-based company, can't trade it. So moving on. I mean, this is anybody who's in the industry is not surprised by that. Vanity Fair is like, oh no, there's political manipulation inside the FDA and drug approval. Duh. Have you seen the amount of money that's in biopharma? People think tobacco lobbyists are huge. They don't even come close to the money that biopharma has. Uh, Very clearly, there's been certain companies that are in the good graces of this government and those that are not. mRNA's drug, which is proving to be a absolute farce, was pumped very well because, well, let's say they had some positive ties. Same thing with Gilead. Gilead is proving underwhelming at the very least. Both of those were in a good position out the gate, but have slowly declined. Okay, so SPPI. What is this? Oh, there. Okay, so Novartis is expecting to take out Sanofi. Novartis, NBS, $84 a share. So I'll put it out there as a play for the options players. I won't play that. Yeah, mRNA puts, right? Tech lobbyists. I mean, the thing with tech is a lot of the sector is tied to Asia, so there's not a lot of lobbying going on. I think the market itself drives tech in a big way, where they don't have to lobby. The people want to use better and better tech. Um, by and large, people aren't really knocking down the doors of their state legislature in regards to um, which type of medicine they get to use. They just want medicine that works. Oh, good. So the way that the scope works is, guys, traditional colonoscopy. They put the tube up your back end, and it's got a little camera on the end, like one of those SWAT cameras, and it's got a light on it. And they click the light, and they can see what's going on inside. Now the problem with that is your colon is an extremely tight, narrow passageway. So for you to pump in there, turn on a light with a camera, there's not a lot of flexibility as far as what you can see around it. So what this device is this goes in and you pump the lever and a balloon inflates, expanding the colon on the inside, which then allows the camera to go in through that balloon and rotate around the expanded colon to see what's going on. So it's probably not going to feel great, which is why you'll be under, but this does provide better insights as they're inside there to actually be able to look around and see what's happening. Uh, Gross, but interesting. Smart Medical Systems. See if they've got a stock. No, they're based out of Israel. No stock. Sentinel Spine announces FDA approval for the manufacturing transfer of preferred technology. Largest privately held company. Next. Microbion gets orphan designation for inhalation suspension for lung infections and cystic fibrosis. That's a big deal. Does Microbion have a stock? Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not going to be an airtight seal. So, yikes. um, why'd I do that? Microbian or private, no stock. Man, this is the love of bio DD, guys. You're gonna get more misses than hits. Get paid to buy these stocks. Solid shares grow by 7%. The switch is made to solid scale 2. Yada yada yada. JP Morgan Chase don't care. MFA increased by 7.23 to settle at $1.78. MFA received 12 cents from the previous trading price. Okay. Analysts who track MFA foresee an average rise of 4.48% through the next 12 months. Same analysts award the stock an average ranking of hold. I disagree with these analysts. MFA I see returning over the next quarter to its pre-COVID levels. See going back up to this $5-6 range, somewhere up here. They're predicting a 4% gain on this. They're predicting MFA will be around here. I think they are wrong. I think we see a serious resurgence back up to here. Almost $1 billion market cap, and it's $1.87. Like, no, doesn't add up. Spectra Pharmaceuticals we already have on the list. I'll leave that there. Novanta lifted a strong buy. Novanta was upgraded by equity. Innovative Advantage. Okay, what does Novanta do? Novanta. It's a medical stock. It is a medical stock. It is an expensive medical stock. Novanta is a play, though, on that upgrade. No BT. Okay, Insulet downgraded. No, I might not also like that. I might like to read the article that I showed up. Kinsale from a hold to a buy rating firm has a price target of $166. It's putting me outside my price range. It's not in bio, so I'm not going to leave it on there. What else do we have? Rating upgraded by analysts, adds Zacks investment research from strong sell to hold, and a note issued to investors on Wednesday. I don't know this company. All right, that's it, guys. We're through that. Let's head over to social media and see what's going on in the news over there. Open this guy, open this guy, open this guy, open this guy. Yahoo Finance. Mattress sales are up. publicly traded mattress companies. Okay, so you guys see what I'm doing here, right? I go to the headlines. I see, okay, well, here's an interesting headline. It's saying that we're seeing less sales in a new industry. Okay, great. So what are the publicly traded mattress companies? Because if mattress sales are going to go up, this has happened before, thankfully. So Select Comfort, Tempur Sealy, TPX, SNBR, and TPX. SNBR and TPX. Okay. Okay, 22 minutes ago, we got a draft. This is exactly it. This is exactly the step that we were expecting when we read section 230 is that in the event that social media companies are deciding that they are going to edit posting, they forfeit their right they forfeit their protections under section 230 to not be directly responsible for the publication. So the reality is this: if you are stating that you are not a water cooler, if you are a publication, you are now responsible for what you publish, in which case that means that you lose the protections under section 230. So it's either everybody gets to speak or nobody gets to speak. For everybody that's rallying against it, I very much doubt that that's not going to go through, because that's definitely the definition that's in there. How healthcare could change under President Biden. Okay. Sorry, I'm watching my son go down a step here. Is that the kid crying? That is my son, and he's talking. He's not crying. But yeah, he stood all on his own yesterday. So that's my youngest of 8. He just decided he was going to stand up yesterday, which is fantastic because he's like 10 months old. So 10 months old, he's standing, he's getting ready to run. I'm sure, a little bugger. Uh, it's one of those proud dad moments. I really love those moments of like when they first start to talk, when they first start to walk, to crawl. But then the insanity starts. I can't even help it. That twitch was just natural. Uh, okay, let's get back to work here though. Babies are so distracting. You know what I mean? Okay, China's economy can grow this year. The key tasks set out by the government are achieved. Trump versus China looks like a reality. Justin Trudeau must now walk an even finer line on issues like Hong Kong. So, for those of you that are unaware in the US, China, so Huawei had a CFO who the US flagged as possibly doing some very illegal things. Canada has an extradition treaty with the US. As a result, they arrested the CEO of that company. And China obviously was not very happy with them arresting a CEO or a CFO of Huawei, which is one of the major success stories out of China, or at least it was before every government started to crack down on it. Now, Canada has been looking to extradite the CFO for months. China has been muddying the waters in the Canadian legal system. Yesterday, a judge ruled that it will move ahead with extradition of Meng into the US, at which point this will add fuel to the fire for the US. It won't do anything for Canada-China relations for sure, but ultimately the burden of proof and the trial against this executive are going to come from the US itself. So let's throw some fuel on the fire for the US. I wonder if the markets are still positive. They were positive this morning, but it was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I believe you. I don't know. We're still showing up, but I'm wondering if this is actually updated here. So let's go here. Let's see what the spy's up to this morning. Yeah, the case had been dragging on way too long. They need to come to a conclusion. Unfortunately, the issue is the Canadian legal system is not one of the fastest. It's built on the British legal system, and so there is a large period of time that transpires between the initial case and all the appeals and all the processes. I don't believe the CFO was a Canadian citizen, which may have actually expedited the process because they are not afforded the same rights and privileges as a Canadian citizen. However, imagine the legal team that Huawei brought in to fight this thing, right? Ultimately, you can't argue against an extradition treaty. Yeah, I mean, who knows? This is another example, guys. Like, if you want to look at a play, is Huawei traded? Is there a stock on Huawei? Okay. But like, yikes for the people that are in LK, for the people that are in Neo. Like, guys, this is a reminder. This is not just these tiny little companies that are committing fraud in China. This is their big beasts, and the Chinese government can state that it's completely unaware of any of the internal operations that are going on. It's simply not true. The state has its hands in everything. It knows what's happening. This was not a surprise. That Lucking Coffee did this is not a surprise. And people are buying back in, which is just nuts to me. Neo, right? Like, here's a year out, $1.50 to $4 is not the same massive incline, but man. Well, yeah. So in China, yeah, I don't know that I want to see them panda. In China, if you defraud a foreign entity, there's not actually a legal proceeding against you for doing that. So if you're in China and you dupe somebody in the US or Canada out of their money, oh well.
There's no legal grounds if you dupe Chinese people. Right, exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. There's no legal grounds to pursue you in China domestically for committing fraud against a foreign citizen or a foreign entity. So what that means is you can scam the US all you want. Now, knowing that that's the policy that the New York Stock Exchange allows any of these Asian companies to be on there is a serious problem. Serious problem. Your ACB cult, not our. I am vocally outspoken against ACB. I get the meme that is with you guys, but for me, I can't stand it. I absolutely can't stand this company. But look, look, this is a year from 90 to 15, and people are like, woohoo! This is not a good return, ladies and gentlemen. And there's no sign of this changing. Don't think that this little uptick here after a 12-1 split is the result of any financial success. This just breaks my heart to see people putting money in this thing. It's an absolute dog turd. Stay away from it. Space is showing some recovery, guys. For those of you that love that sweet space launch news. If you love the space launch, the next launch date is the 30th. So Saturday, 2 p.m. I believe, 2 or 3 p.m. That's when they're going to give this another shot. So if you're looking to make a Tesla play on it, then expect to look at Saturday. So you'll have to play it over the weekend, which I know is like, over the weekend, how will I get out? 322. There you go. If Saturday is a no-go, then Sunday is the next date after that. And they're doing 2 p.m. on the Sunday. Unfortunately, there is risk of thunderstorms both days, but we'll see what happens. Okay. Ouch. $6.2 billion loss. So, people like to talk about bubbles, okay? And the auto industry is in a serious bubble. Cars used to be relatively affordable. Cost of a car in 1950. New car in 1950 cost $1,500, okay? So 1950, $1,500. Annual salary in 1950, $3,300. So half a year's salary, give or take, okay? So let's just track with me on this, okay? So car costs half a year's salary, roughly. If a car costs half a year's salary now, our average annual salary in 2020 I guarantee you this is not an accurate average. Show me some census. Good salary. Okay, here we go. 65, 64, 63, 63, okay? Yeah, no, that was not accurate. The average salary in Canada is not $160,000 a year. That is not accurate. Okay, so we're looking at 65, 64,000, 63,000, 63,000. Yeah, it's not. That is not an accurate number. Now, this right here, guys, new vehicles should be costing you ballpark of 30 grand, let's say. What car should we look at? Who's got a car that they like? What car should we buy? Don't say Tesla, because Tesla's a luxury vehicle. That's outside the norm. Well, let's pick a normal vehicle here. What are we doing? That's a normal family vehicle. Because I've got a shuttle van. That's not a normal family. Toyota Camry. Okay. Let's look up a Toyota Camry. We're going to buy ourselves a brand new Toyota Camry, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we can get. Okay, we're looking for a regular midsize vehicle. Currently on sale for $2,620 with a legal disclaimer. Let's build this thing out. Okay, why not? So we don't want last year's model. We want this year's model. Do we want a hybrid? Do we want a hybrid model or non-hybrid? Like, what are we looking for? Screw hybrid. So non-hybrid models. Okay, do we want the LE or the non-LE? Let's compare the packages. Let's see what we get. So wheel locks, rear foldable seats, driver lumbar support, alloy wheels, 8-way power adjustable driver seats. Ooh, look what the LE with the upgrade is. You get a Sirius, you get a garage door opener, wireless charging, rear view mirror, touchscreen. You got to have all this, right? Like this is part of a car these days. CD player, you got to have a CD player. Okay, so let's pick that. Okay, so we're going to go there. So we've got our LE upgrade on there. Wait. Ooh, limited availability. Do we want the Nightshade edition? Okay, do we want this regular one or do we want the Nightshade edition? Ooh, look at the Nightshade edition. Okay, so here's the LE upgrade. That's what it looks like with the LE upgrade. Here's the SE Nightshade edition. You see how it's kind of pimped out a little bit. Here's the SE upgrade. Looks like a reinforced frame. Power slide, auto dimming, smart key system, safety connect. I think you got to have all that stuff these days. Oh, do we need all-wheel drive? What do you guys think? Nightshade looks nicer? Okay, so we'll go with Nightshade because it looks nicer. Do we need all-wheel drive? All-wheel drive is a no. We don't need all-wheel drive. Okay. How about a V6? Do we need a V6 in this puppy? Do we need to go fast? What do you think? Do we need to go fast or can we just leave it as is? No V6. Okay. We get to pick our colors here. Do we want black and white or do we want to spice this thing up? Is this going to let me spice this up? No? Midnight Metal Black. Oh, there's only two colors on the outside. There's only two colors. We can pick black or white. V6 gotta go fast. Okay, so we'll do the V6 gotta go fast. Whoa, what happened there? Colors change. Okay. So now we get an additional color option. When you switch to this one, you can go red. So we've got a wind chill with a black roof on this one, or you can get a midnight black, or we got a red one. It's got to be red. Okay, red car. Interior, we only get one choice. It's a nice mix of cloth and leather. Accessories. Do we need a dash camera? Probably not. Rear saddle tray. I don't even know what that is. Auto dimming rear view mirror. That's stupid for $500. Cargo liner. Now you do want a cargo liner because you put a lot of crap back there, right? Put a lot of crap back there. Let's see all the other accessories. Universal tablet holder. What do you think? I got a lot of kids. I know that I would want a tablet holder. What about you guys? You want a tablet holder for the back seat? Sure, why not? Let's get a tablet holder. Engine starter. This is a must in Canada, right? You don't want to go outside in the cold to do that. I don't need a HomeLink mirror, but yeah, this is a must. You got to have that automatic starter. Okay, exterior. Door cup protection film. No. Hood deflector. Does it make the car look cooler? Just adds this little lip on the hood. No need. Okay. Pro Series paint protection film. Are we going to pretend? We don't need to. Believe me, it pays for itself. Side window deflectors. I don't know that we need those. A block heater. Rear bumper applique. Don't really need that. Okay. Extra care. So do we want the gold plan or the platinum plan? Do we want a warranty on this thing or are we just going to buy it as is? Guten Morgen. Hair is here. We want the gold plan. Okay, so we're not going to go all out. And we want it over. Well, I mean, we're going to drive the heck out of this thing. So let's make it the 2,000 kilometer road hazard. Yeah, you know what? We're not going to do road hazard because everybody's got CAA in Canada, so we don't need that. Wear Pass plans ensure that you do not face extra charges at lease end by protecting against damage beyond what is considered normal everyday use. For more details, contact your Toyota dealer. This isn't a lease. We're gonna buy this puppy. We're gonna buy it. I don't want to lease it. I wanna buy this. But there's the vehicle price, ladies and gentlemen. There's the vehicle price. 41,000 for this, 63,000 annual salary. Yeah, 134 bucks a week. But this is a lease. You don't own this. So you're getting fleeced on this because what you're doing is you're paying 5.29% over 60 months interest. So you're actually paying a chunk of change into interest. But it's a leased vehicle, so meh. You get a Dodge Challenger instead. So this is a pretty, like, we didn't go all out on this. This isn't a Mercedes, right? This is a Toyota for 41 grand. This is 2/3 of the average annual salary. This is not half. So this vehicle is inflated by 25%. That's the bubble that needs to come down in the automotive industry. It's an inflation of 25%. They wonder why young people aren't buying cars. This is why. This is not affordable based off of the average salaries we're seeing. It's not. Just not. Don't pay for 6 months if you buy your car now. Yeah, sure. And then you get fleeced down the road. Like, come on. Come on. Nobody's that new to the game. We've been here before. We've played this. Ooh, Dr. Trifecta followed me. I'll see your follow and follow you right back, good sir. Okay, what else we got for notifications? Let's see. I like these quick takes. Okay, so the Swiss politicians have decided that sex workers can get back to work, but you cannot compete in physical wrestling, boxing, or judo. So sex work okay, judo, boxing, and wrestling no go. I'm not sure how sex work applies if you got to keep a 6-foot distance. I mean, ATRX upped their bid, so they're going to spend a little bit more, but that's fine because they got confirmation on the 30 million. So, yeah, ATRX is looking pretty tasty. Well, this is the first step to Terminators. Want Terminators? This is how you get them. Exactly. We help you find humans that are sick, and then we will eliminate them. Like, yikes. Yeah, you're all laughing and smiling now, but you wait. You wait. Well, Tesla's working on Skynet. It's all coming together. We need John Connor. Keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen. If you trip across John Connor, stay near. Economic sentiment in euro areas rises from a record low after companies start to reopen. So good news for the UK. Global hiring is stabilizing. That's good. China's economy can grow. That's bull. It's absolute bull. 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 Who's crazy? I'm crazy about Terminators. No. See, that's a rookie mistake, Panda. Most people would go for Schwarzenegger first, but remember, the first Terminator that was sent back to kill John Connor was Schwarzenegger. So you can't go for Schwarzenegger at the gate. You got to find John Connor or Sarah Connor out the gate. And after John Connor and Sarah Connor, then you can find Arnold. But you got to be with John Connor and Sarah Connor. That's the way it goes. Yeah, long on guns. It's not wrong. It's not a bad idea if you see Terminators happen. Um, yeah, yeah. What a world we live in, huh? Huh? What a crazy world we live in. Man, oh man. Who would have guessed it? Let's go to top news. EMP stocks. How do we invest in EMPs? They become impervious to EMPs pretty quickly. Trump ordered to enable punishment for social media. China approves. Zuckerberg responds. Here's who really benefits from the US dollar. Headline. No. Again. No, it's not headliner. What is the, I forgot the name of the app. Read articles with a paywall. Outline. Not headline. Out. Okay. Because I want to read this article, but I don't want to. I don't want to pay Bloomberg for it. Um, all right. Singer whose real name is Claire Boucher, who goes by C. The only reason I'm interested is because Grimes is Elon's girl, right? Yeah. Little X. She's an actress, a singer, and an artist, a visual artist. So you want to see some of Grimes' art? Grimes art. Grimes visual art. My five had theory on my five had theory on the new baby is he's actually a clone. He's an Elon clone. Um, okay, I kind of wanted to peel through VTIQ today, but I don't think I will. I guess at 6 o'clock. Okay, I still have time. So this is what I wanted to get to eventually here, guys, is VTIQ. There's a lot of discussion about what's going on with it. So what I want to do is just take the next hour and a bit to break down VTIQ off of their 10K. Musk had a baby. He's not the baby's not on the way. The baby's already born. So VTIQ guys is an up and coming truck company that does hydrogen fuel cell trucks. They're looking to compete with Tesla. We're not talking like Tesla's upcoming truck. We're talking like diesel trucks, like the big guys, Series 8 trucks, your 18 wheelers. Okay, and so the competition is on. There is a lot of people that are getting very hyped up about this stock. They think it's a big deal. My opinion is it's not a big deal. So let's go through here why it is that you don't want to go anywhere near VTIQ. Okay, that's my hypothesis. My hypothesis is you don't want to touch this. So in general, blah 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 blah. General is all nonsense. This is in regards to their merger with Nikola, which is what's causing these giant trucks to come through. So that. Their business strategy is to build cars. Business combination criteria. This is what it means for the two to merge. Competitive strengths, what this will give them. They believe that by acquiring a privately held company will make their financial position and flexibility better. With funds available for a business combination in the amount of $238 million as of December 31st, 2019. Remember this number, it's going to be important. $238 million is not always $238 million. And then a $25 million contingent forward purchase agreement is possible. So the big number is $250 million. That's what we're going to look at. Remember that number as we go through, guys. $250 million. So business structure, fair market value. So this is the first step: is they have to have a fair market value that is indicating their current stock price on merger. So we'll see how that goes. Is this the risk section yet? Are we there? No, we're not there. Okay. So I looked at this. I looked at the start of this really, really briefly last night, guys. And it was pretty nutty. Okay, so risk factors. Here we are. Okay, so we start on page 18 with risk factors. Are you ready for the risks to getting into this thing? Blank check. They are a blank check company. No operating history, no revenues, no basis to evaluate their ability to actually do what they say they're going to do. Okay, this is big. So they have no proof of concept. They have no proof that they can actually sell these damn trucks. Okay, huge deal. Past performance by our management team. No idea if the management team can actually do what they say they're going to do because we've never sold a single truck. The requirement that the target business or businesses that we acquire must collectively have fair market value. There's no reassurance that we will actually be worth what we say we are going to be worth. This is them writing this. This is not a third party, guys. This is the business itself saying, we can't guarantee that we're actually going to be worth what we say we're going to be worth. Our public stockholders may not be afforded the opportunity to vote on our initial business combination. This is happening whether you like it or not as a shareholder. If they do seek approval, irregardless of the vote, they can just push it through anyway. Your only opportunity to affect the investment decision combination may be limited to the exercise of your right to redeem your shares for cash. So what you can do is if you don't want the merger, you can contact them and say, hey, I just want my shares in cash. Just pay me it. I don't want to be a part of this merger. Pay me it. If a lot of people do this and they say, oh, well, we'll just pay us out in cash. We don't want to be a part of the merger. Yeah, exactly. If a lot of people do this, that could potentially mean that we aren't valued what we should be valued at, and this whole thing could tank. The forward purchase investor has the ability to excuse itself from its obligation to purchase forward purchase shares for any reason. So that extra $25 million that they tacked on to the 238, there's no legal accountability to that. They don't have to give that $25 million if they don't want to. If they see this thing as a dog turd, they just don't pay this. In evaluating prospective targets for the business, sellers of the initial business combination, sale of some or all forward purchase agreements, suppose we may lack sufficient funds. In the event that this thing looks like a dog turd and they don't get $25 million, they may not have the valuation to actually make this combination go through, which means it could fall through. Public stockholders to exercise redemption rights with respect to a large number of our shares may not allow us to consummate the most desirable business combination or optimize our capital structure. If you own the rights to purchase additional shares at a lower price, there's a good chance that you will not be able to get your hands on the shares. You would have to wait for liquidation in order to redeem your shares. Yikes. The requirement that we complete our initial business combination within 24 months from the closing of the initial public offering may give potential target businesses leverage over us. Negotiating in our initial business combination may limit the amount of time we have to conduct due diligence. So what they're saying is people know that this is a super high risk play, and as a result, they may go into negotiations asking for compensation above what normally would be required, simply on the basis of, well, guys, this is risky, so you're gonna have to give us a little bit more money and want us to work with you, which is not good. We may not be able to consummate our initial business combination with the required time period, in which case we would cease all operations except for the purpose of winding up, and we would redeem our public shares and liquidate. We don't even know that we can get this thing off the ground in time. Does that sound good to anybody? Like, we may not be able to consummate our initial business combination within the required time period, in which case we would cease all operations except for the purpose of winding up, and we would redeem our public shares and liquidate. We don't even know if we can make this merger happen fast enough. If they're unable to consummate their business combination within the time period as promptly as reasonably as possible, more than 5 business days hereafter, distribute the aggregate amount on the deposit to the trust account, $200,000. So we got to get back the money that we took if we can't get it to go through. If we seek stockholder approval for our initial combination pursuant to proxy solicitation, yada yada yada, and includes a vote in favor for the business combination. So you may not agree to what happens. Tough, deal with it. Purchases of shares of our common stock in the open market or in privately negotiated transactions by our founder or their affiliates may make it difficult for us to maintain the listing of the common stock on Nasdaq following. So if you're trading stock privately, which you can do, right, exactly. It's a little scary. But this is what I want people to realize with this stock. So when people talk about TVIQ, at the very least, you guys are going to be educated. We will have read through this 10K. You will understand why this is a giant dog turd. Purchase of the common share. So if you guys are making public exchanges of our stock instead of trading on the market, so don't do things privately, do them on the open market so people can see, so it raises the value of our company and inflates us unnaturally. But if you don't do that, if you do these private deals that often do happen, especially on something as risky as this, you could potentially hurt the stock, which would cause it to fall through, in which case everybody gets nothing. Do not have any rights or interest in funds from the trust account, except under certain limited circumstances, to liquidate your investment, if you may be forced to sell your securities at a loss. Sell your securities at a loss. You will not be entitled to protections normally afforded to investors of many other blank check companies. So there are some rules that happen with an initial IPO, but because this isn't an official IPO, because VTIQ is simply acquiring Nikola and bringing it under its umbrella, you don't get afforded those securities that would happen with an initial IPO period. Those are gone. You don't get any of that. If we seek stockholder approval on our initial business combination pursuant to a proxy solicitation, and if your group of stockholders are deemed to hold in excess, so if you own more than 15% of the company, tough, you don't own more than 15% of the company. What? If the funds not being held in the trust account are insufficient to allow us to operate for at least 24 months following the closing of our IPO, we may be unable to complete our initial business combination. So if they don't have enough capital to cover 2 years' expenses, this is the hydrogen truck, yeah. If you don't have enough capital to cover the 2 years of expenses, you probably won't see this go through. If third parties bring claims against the proceeds held in the trust account, could be reduced. So if people sue them, obviously that's going to hurt their cash flow, which hurts everything else, which puts the deal at risk. They may not enforce against their funders. Okay, that doesn't really affect the shareholder. So because they have not in any way produced vehicles and sold them on the market, they could be considered an investment company. And if they are considered an investment company, they will have additional reporting, which will make it difficult, which may make it difficult, not will, which may make it difficult for their initial business combination. What's up, Dice? Okay, so what they're saying is we haven't made any trucks, we haven't sold any trucks, and until we make or sell trucks, technically we're just an investment company. We're a fund. So it's like, oh, okay, so currently what we're seeing here, guys, is do they have cash on hand? Yes, but we haven't actually broken that down entirely. They're claiming 235 million alongside 25 million that's supposed to come from this outside investor. But that guy can pull that out any time if he wants. He doesn't have to. And they won't do anything about that. If they don't do this fast enough, they could lose it. You could lose everything. If either party decides to just pull out, they can. and that's no problem, and you lose everything. If they haven't sold a single truck or vehicle, there's not even a truck for sale at the moment. So they're considered an investment company because all of their holdings are currently just in investments. That's how they're building their capital, is they've got a large investment fund. And in the event that that's the case, then the SEC is going to look into them as a fund and not as a company. Changes in laws or regulations or failure to comply. Yeah, obviously the laws change and what you're doing is illegal. Fuel cells become illegal because they explode and kill people. Then obviously your business won't be there. This one's not a huge deal. We may not be able to complete our initial business combination with a prescribed time frame, in which case we would cease all operations and liquidate shares. Guys, this is scary. This is a huge risk. Liquidate. They are going to liquidate shares. They are using a line in Germany initially to do the first rollout, and then they are hoping to build 2 more facilities in Arizona. But none, those aren't built, and the manufacturing plant is not currently building the truck. And I'm going to get to that side of it. It's right after this, though. I just want to go through all these risks first, guys, so we'll get there. But let's just say that right now, if I was going to go buy a diesel truck, it would be probably about 140 to 160 grand for me to buy a brand new diesel truck. These things are going for $250,000. You tell me, coming out of one of the worst economic crises in history, do you see companies willing to pay double for a new truck? I don't. I don't care how well your fuel cell technology works. I don't see any trucking company that's working on operating a fleet saying, yeah, sure, I'll pay double for all these new trucks. No way, no how. I don't care if you do a benefit cost analysis saying down the road, your fuel cost will negate the cost of this. This is an upfront cost. Upfront cost. And exactly, oil prices being the lowest they've ever been, this is a dog turd. This is a flaming dog turd. But we'll get there. Again, you can buy stock, but if you buy so much stock that you actually own 15% or more of the company, they will not recognize that you own 15% or more of the company. Because they're not bound to any specific region, there could be potential risk there. I don't think that that's really a big deal. We may see acquisition opportunities outside the industrial technology, transportation, smart. They may look to branch out beyond where they currently are. They just want that in there. That's not a huge deal. That's not how stocks work. Yeah, I mean, stocks only go up, right? You heard it here, guys. I heard a wise man once say, stocks only go up. Yeah. Yeah, who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right and we're wrong. Who knows? Um, Stonks only go up. I play long equity. I'm a huge fan of the idea that stonks go up because that's the only play that I know how to take. So I'm right there with Stocky. I agree. Stonks only go up. We may seek acquisition opportunities with an early stage company, a financially unstable business, or an entity lacking an established record. Not only do we retain the right to expand outside of what we say we're going to do, we can't prove that we're even going to do what we say we're going to do. And on top of that, we may acquire a small business that's not even in our sector that is financially unstable or entirely lacking of any established record of revenue earnings. This is just saying we can choose to buy anything from anyone if we want to. And you can't do squat about it as a stockholder. We are not required to obtain an opinion from an independent investing bank firm, accounting firm, or independent source that confirm the price that we're paying for the business is fair. And we don't need proof that what we're doing is good for the company. We may issue additional shares of common stock or preferred shares to complete our initial business combination. Up to 100 million shares of common stock. 100 million shares they're going to issue. This means that they are going to dilute the value of those currently holding the stock. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Our amended and restated certificate of incorporation will authorize the issuance of 100 million shares of common stock. Okay, so let's go over to VTIQ right now. Pull it up on Yahoo Finance. Yeah, go ahead. It's just my beautiful wife walking by, guys. Get distracted. Okay. Financials? No, not financials. Where's the outstanding stock? VTIQ. I can't see shares outstanding on VTIQ. I can't see it. So, however many shares they already have out there on VTIQ, they're going to issue another 100 million. Believe me, that's going to dilute your current investment like in insanity, absolute insanity. Um, we can burn as many resources as we want to try to find other businesses. Um, we might get taken. Oh man. Because we're incorporated in Delaware, there are laws that may have us getting taken over, and we can't do anything about it. Oh, it's in statistics on. Okay. Market cap intraday, $845 million. Trailing PE, enterprise value, EBITDA, fiscal year, profitability, income statement not available, share statistics. I'm not seeing it. Outstanding shares. Is anybody seeing it? I'm not seeing it. Oh, shares outstanding. 29.64. So 29 million, and they're going to add another 100 million on it. It's a dump and dump. Now, people are saying, now, I want to be clear, guys. So, the reason why I'm going into this is Martini and I got into a conversation on StockTwits yesterday, and this was the accusation made. Obviously, you have not read the SEC filing. They have zero leverage. Dude, go read. You're making it up. Tell your storyteller, tell your short seller they're going to get smoked. It's okay. Check out the after hours buying. That should be your first clue. Not a good time to be on the short side. Okay? So, the challenge that I am reading in this is you didn't read the SEC filing. Okay. Okay. Tell me if anybody here, given what we have read right now, is lining up to buy their VTIQ shares first thing in the morning. Anyone? We're not even through the risks yet, guys. We are 10 pages in on just the risks. We are not going to hold an annual meeting to tell you guys what we are doing. As such, the NASDAQ may delist us because we haven't held an annual meeting. We might just get delisted out the gate because we're not holding an annual meeting. Like, we can move our jurisdiction, our ability to successfully affect the blah, 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 loss of our executive officers. We could lose our executives. They may not want to be there. So if that happens, we may not be a valued company anymore, and we might not merge. Our key personnel may negotiate, or they may leave. Limited ability to assess the management of prospective business target. Officers and directors of an acquisition candidate may resign upon consummation. Loss of an acquisition target's key personnel can negatively affect. So in this merger, people could get fired. If they get fired, oh well. By the way, guys, if you want, I took the time. If you guys want to see my portfolio, my public portfolio, I guess is what I have to go to. Here it is, guys. It's easy for me to take a look at other people's stuff, but if you want to see my stuff, you want to see what I'm holding right now. That's what I'm currently in. That's my current holdings. That's what I'm playing. I want to be as transparent as possible in this. I never recommend that you take positions that I take without doing due diligence. I'm not a financial expert, but what I am is trying to be transparent and showing you guys I've got skin in the game. I'm taking cash and putting it in the market. I am playing it. For those of you that have been around often enough, you've seen my platform. I pull it up regularly. There are my holdings. There it is. Blah 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 blah. Yada yada yada. This account started $3,000 in January. currently up to 26 grand on long equity plays. So that is what it is. Do with that as you will. But for transparency's sake, I do want to be open and honest about that, guys. Yeah, do want to be open and honest with you about that. So if you ever want to check my portfolio, I'm going to keep this updated on TipRank so you can see what it is that I am actually playing. I know that you guys see my calls here. You see what I'm looking at here. And you also hear me on Stock Guys Morning Call. But if you actually want to see which plays I take and which volume I take, that's there for you to see. So I don't know. Well, this will update probably when I exit positions and take gains or losses. But for now, that's the position that I'm holding. That's not the portfolio as of January. That's as of yesterday when I filled that out. So there's that. Let's keep going on VTIQ. None of Cowen or any of its affiliates or advisors has any obligation to provide us with potential investment opportunities. Okay, so your founders purchased an aggregate of 5.7 million founder shares for $25,000. May issue debt securities, incur substantial debt. Oh man! Just letting you know, we may take on massive amounts of debt, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because all we are going to be able to afford to do is sell trucks. It has to work or we fail. We may attempt to simultaneously consummate business combinations with multiple prospective targets, which may hinder our ability to consummate our initial business combination and give rise to increased costs and risk that can negatively affect our operations profitability. Yeah, okay. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Our management team and stockholders may not be able to maintain control of target business after our initial business combination. We may not be able to actually keep control of this thing. Somebody might buy it out right from underneath us. This just goes on and on and on. You've got no rights to vote. This is going to go bad. This could go bad. This will go bad. This could go bad. This could go bad. This could go bad. This may go bad. You have no rights. We are going to do this without you. If we can't do it, you're going to get $10 a share. Where's VTIQ right now? $28 a share. You're gonna take 60% losses if this business thing doesn't go through, if this deal doesn't go through. So it has to go through, or you're just gonna take a massive loss. And I mean the lawsuits aren't gonna save you. There's not enough money to save you. The founders paid less than a penny a share. There is a risk of delisting. Again, that's risk 2 of delisting. Yes, Techie, it definitely will be. The GDP results are going to be huge. It's going to let us know which direction we're heading in. The GDP results are month over month. I'm hoping to just burn through this. Okay, so we're finally done, guys. That's 20 pages of risks. 20 pages of risks before we even get into the financials. Okay. Okay. Selected financial data. Show me the numbers. Show me the numbers. Financial statements and supplementary data. Okay, here we go. Okay, 2018 assets. They have declined by $500,000 in assets. Cash held in trust account. They've burned through 30 grand in the trust account. Investments held in the trust account. 3 million. So currently they are a hedge fund. Currently they're an investment firm. That's what they do. They made money last year over their investment fund, and that is it. Liabilities and stockholders' equity. Total current liabilities, $700,000. Where did they pay it off? Accrued income tax payable, so they didn't have any income tax because they weren't paying anybody. Yay! They are now picking up accounts payable, which means that they do have purchases that they have to acquire. These numbers are going to go up huge. Remember, because currently, how many car plants are they running? None. Not one. Not a single car plant. They're looking to rent, which is your accounts payable. They are looking to rent a single factory in Germany to get the initial line out. But they have not built any of the factories that are actually going to house these trucks yet. Okay. So no plants built. Their reliabilities are down a little bit from last year, but let's be honest here. What do you think it costs to build 2 hydrogen fuel cell truck facilities in the US, domestically in the US? They only have $239 million. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty expensive. This is VTIQ. Yeah, it's VTIQ. Somebody threw the gauntlet down and said, "You've obviously not read the SEC filing." Here we go. My theory was that this thing was a dog turd before I read it. Net income. Again, this is just on their investments. General administrative expenses doubled over the year. Loss from operations was 900 grand, so they're burning $1 million already. $1 million a year with no factories, no employees, nothing. They're burning $1 million a year. Okay. Investment income in trust account. So they're making their income off of their fund. That's how they currently are staying afloat. Okay, shares, total shares. 7 million. 7 million shares, and they were going to add another 100 million on merger. 100 million. Tack on a 1 and a 0 to this. 108 million. Yeah, if you guys want to read along, here's the link. We are on page 53 right now. Page 53. 107 million shares. Yikes. What do you think that is going to do to the value of your stock? This thing is going to plummet to the ground. Summary IPO. It's going to cost you a penny per warrant on this. Founder shares, initial stockholders agree, private placement units. Okay, related party loans. $100,000 loan they took out. In addition, in order to finance transaction costs in connection with business combination, the sponsor, affiliate, sponsor, certain companies loan the company funds as may be required. If the company completes a business combination, the company will repay the working capital loans. $1.5 million in working loans. Administrative support agreement for another 195, so up to 2.5 million in loans. Commitments and contingencies. Company is currently authorized to issue 100 million shares of common stock with a par value of. Look at that value. That's the value. Holders of common stock are entitled to 1 vote for each share as of December, and they were okay, including. So of the 100 million shares they could issue, 29 million have been issued. And then there's another 22 million and 22 million respectively that are there. This is VTIQ that we're looking at, sorry. Investment valuation, quoted prices, blah, 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 blah. Carrying value, gross unrealized gains, quoted prices in active markets. Okay. Proposed business combination, subscription agreements, filing deadlines, controls procedures. These are the directors. They do what they do. Executive compensation. This is how much they're getting paid. This is what's in the fund right now. So they hold themselves, they hold BlackRock, they hold Polar, they hold Carpus, they hold Periscope, and then these are people. That's their board of directors. So BlackRock is in them right now. Certain relationship and related transactions and director independence, blah, blah, blah. Principal accountant fees and services, that doesn't matter. Okay. So what we have heard here, warrants. As of the date, blah, 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 public warrants, 890,000 price per warrant, okay. For stock dividends, they will not be paying dividends. Limited liability, section 302 certification, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. So, that's the 10K, okay? Now, let's look at VTIQ. Okay. So, this is an excellent article that was written, and it really does break down what needs to happen here in order for them to succeed. So, if you are in VTIQ, we just broke down the amount of risks, 20 pages of risks of you've got no rights, your vote means nothing, if they're undervalued, you get nothing, they'll liquidate, NASDAQ could delist them because they're not holding annual meetings. There was all kinds of things that were giant red flags that this thing goes south real quick. And you will get nothing for it. Okay. So Nikola Motor Company will compete with the biggest names in trucking, but it won't make a dent in the market till 2024. Okay. So first of all, we are in 2020. Okay. So 2024 is when they will even start to come in. Okay. Very strong product line means it can compete and potentially take in 5 to 8% per share of new truck sales. Time out on that one. Nikola trucks are expected to be competitive to diesel trucks mainly because they are more productive for truck operators. Time out on that one. Manufacturing capacity and mass producing the vehicles is the biggest risk to the story. I agree. That's a huge risk to the story, but it's only half of the risk. There's another huge side of the risk. At 3.7 times 2024 expected revenues, the stock is not cheap, but still represents strong upside. Okay, so trucking industry review, okay? Units in thousands. So this is 276,000 units in this class. Sales of Class 8 trucks in the US have ranged from 95,000 to 284,000 per year on average. So 2019, $276,000. American Airlines, Techie, if we have time today, I will definitely hop in and take a look at that. But yeah, I want to finish this breakdown of VTIQ here so people have a full grasp of what's happening. But yeah, if there's time, I will definitely get into that. Okay, so they're assuming that we're going to see anywhere from 150 to 250,000. So let's do this. This is not hard to do. Class 8 truck sales 2020. North American numbers are likely going to fall below 179,000. Class 8 truck sales fell 22%. 22% in February. Look at this. Look, retail sales in the 1,000. 15,000, 15,000 from 20,000. Like it. So we know that the product that they're trying to, link for the article. Sorry. So we know that they're trying to say, okay, in order for this thing to succeed, it needs to hit 5 to 8% of share in this new trucking industry. Okay. It says that they're competitive because they're more productive. Okay. So we know that sales as a whole are down. So we're looking at a decline in the market in a big way. Here's January, February, March, April. Now remember, guys, January, February, this January especially, we were unaffected by COVID in January. We were already seeing a decline in truck sales in January before COVID took hold. Okay. April, they're supposed to be picking up. Like March and April, there's supposed to be an incline. We're supposed to see growth, not a sharp decline to lower levels than the rest of the year. Class 8 sales is Okay, so here are the brands that they're competing against. Volvo is there. Daimler's there. One of the issues, though, that's not being mentioned here is Tesla 18-wheeler. Tesla is also producing a Class 8 vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. This is who they... So at the same time, you have two people coming into a new market, and they still feel confident that... I mean, do you guys feel confident so far? They haven't built a single truck. They haven't sold a single truck. They don't have a single plant in the US. They've never done this before. And they're going up against Tesla. Tesla. They're going up against Tesla, Garth. Now, granted, Tesla is an electric vehicle. It is not a fuel cell vehicle, but we'll get to that. If Tesla wasn't enough, Volvo is a beast in that industry. It's an absolute beast. So, by projecting 12,000 unit sales in 2024, Nikola is expecting to grab 5 to 8% market share of new truck sales, assuming a normalized market. I find that to be a realistic target because it means Nikola will become a new player in the field. Expecting Nikola to grab this market share seems reasonable. I completely and utterly disagree. I disagree. So here you have these brands broken down as they are. Truckers are not guys that move with the times. Like, we are not innovating quickly on these things, okay? They are what they are. These fleets are the fleets. They are more likely to maintain fleets than buy new fleets, especially in times when finances get tough, which is where we are right now. We're not seeing a massive resurgence in shipping yet. Shipping actually never really took a dive. So that means the fleets that have been operating on all of the shipping with Amazon and getting things everywhere, there's absolutely no way that they are going to take 5 to 8% market share. And they need to do that. They have to do that. They have to sell 12,000 units in 2024. Now, that being said, okay, here's the breakdown of fuel cell versus diesel trucks, okay? Nikola expects to break through the trucking industry and grab market share from the big boys with 3 products: the Nikola 1, the Nikola 2, and the Nikola Tre, okay? Nikola Tre will be the first to market. So this is the one that they are making in Germany. The Nikola 2 and Nikola 1 are the ones that are going to be made here. Nikola Tre is a battery electric vehicle, so this one is electric. These one are fuel cell vehicles, okay? So these two are fuel cells, this is a battery. Nikola 1, Nikola 2, Nikola Tre are Class 8 trucks with 1,000 horsepower. Expected maximum weight of this, I don't really care about that. Despite being heavier, Nikola truck will be a fair competitor to the typical diesel truck because the weight difference is manageable. Typical diesel trucks weigh approximately this much. If Nikola managed to produce their trucks at 20,000 pounds, then its hauling will only be reduced by 1,000 to 3,000 pounds. Okay, who here understands how the trucking industry works? Anyone? How do you get paid on these trucks? You get paid by fleets that want to pick them up. Okay, great. So we're there. Everybody track with me. Nikola gets paid by the companies and the fleets that are buying these trucks. How do those companies get paid? Those companies get paid by shipping goods across the country. Let me ask you, if they have to choose between buying a diesel truck that can carry 1,000 to 3,000 more pounds or a Nikola truck that's fancy and new and expensive that carries 1,000 to 3,000 pounds less of inventory, what do you think they pick? What are they going to do? I know what I would do. Other key characteristics, such as 100% fuel cost savings. Okay, so fuel cost savings is a big argument here, okay? Approximately 60% savings on repair and maintenance, better torque and acceleration. This number is complete horseshit. They have no idea. They have absolutely no idea the performance of these vehicles because they have never built one. They have never sold one. They've never driven one. It has never been used on a long haul trade route by delivery trucks in the US. I promise you, I absolutely promise you that the savings and repair on maintenance is a joke. It's an absolute joke. Not only is it a joke on the basis of these trucks have never been proven as far as breakdowns and flaws, on top of that, what you've got is, where do these trucks go to get fixed? So the initial truck is being built in Germany and it breaks down. That means that you have to custom order parts. Nobody knows how to fix these things. What the heck are you going to do? The other thing is, yeah, there's no network to charge these puppies. You think Tesla's just going to give them access to their network? I very much doubt that. I very much doubt. So the fuel cost savings, I don't think are actually going to be negated here. It's really this argument is crap. I need to emphasize the last point because it's extremely important. Nikola trucks are expected to generate zero emission, unlike diesel trucks, which are emission heavy. Nobody freaking cares. The fleet owners don't care whether the trucks are zero emission. They don't care. Here's the big one. Okay, 235 to 250K. That's double, not double. That's 1.75 times what a diesel truck costs. Like, so we're in the midst of one of the greatest economic crises of history, and you're expecting people to pay double on unproven technology in an industry it's never touched before on the basis of it generates zero emissions. Do we have any believers yet? Is anybody sold on TVIQ? Not to mention that these guys here can do the same thing, and probably better. The Tesla Semi is expected to price at look. Like, this is what Nikola's coming in at. Tesla's undercutting them. Tesla is undercutting them by crazy. So average diesel truck costs 117K right now. Tesla's coming in at a modest increase. I could see maybe the 150K tag not being that much different from the 117, especially if there are credits. However, because the operating costs of Nikola trucks are expected to be meaningfully lower than diesel trucks, it could make sense for the operators to pay the hefty price tag. I don't know in what world this person is living. My analysis tells me that an owner-operator would probably recoup his incremental investment of $133,000 in as little as 2 to 3 years. Okay. So here's the payback analysis. This is the cost-benefit analysis that I was talking about, where they're breaking it down and saying, look, see, here's how much fuel you spend. Here's the cost per mile. Here it is broken down. See how well that works? What doesn't take into account here is if the trucks break down and they're not on the road and you're not able to ship, doesn't incur any of those costs. It also doesn't include the fact that the trucking industry is very seriously looking at automated driving as the next major purchase. And these are not automated vehicles. These are just run-of-the-mill vehicles. For you to pay double for a truck, do you pick the truck that is unproven, or do you pick a company that has successfully built these style of vehicles over and over and over again and already has an established energy article? And he says it's not. He says it's not sponsored. He says he doesn't own a position and it's not sponsored at the end. If Nikola delivers what it's promising its customers, revenues will explode and the Nikola stock will likely skyrocket. Absolute bullcrap. Nikola expects to deliver 12,000 trucks by 2024. But still has to ramp up manufacturing. There's little room for error. Okay, so Nikola has an ace up its sleeve. Nikola formed a JV with CNHI, the parent company of leading heavy truck manufacturer Iveco and FPT. JV secured Iveco's manufacturing facility in Germany for production of the Nikola tray. This means Nikola will leverage Iveco's manufacturing. This is good for Nikola. Those who don't know, Iveco is a leading truck manufacturer in Europe. This is not, and I repeat, not good for Nikola. Nikola is looking to engage that's right, the American market. For you to have a facility in Germany building cars for America right now, probably not a good idea. Even a worse idea if you are going to be in Trump for 4 more years. Trump for 4 more years means that this is a particularly bad idea. However, plenty of manufacturing risk still exists because underdeveloped, it's manufactured in Germany. The facility needs an estimated $40 million investment in upgrades. Okay, so remember, we have that $235 million. We can't count on the additional $25 million because whoever that is that's offering that can just pull that at any given time, right? So we need another $40 million just to get this plant for the tray in Germany up and running. So our 235, let's open up a calculator here. Our 235 million, right? Minus, they're talking about 2024. So we saw that they've got $1 million in spending over 4 years. So we know that. So let's subtract $4 million off of this. Okay, so we're down to 19 million. Okay, that's not right. I didn't have enough zeros to start. Hold on. $234 million is what we're starting. So that's awesome. No, that's a million. Okay. Minus $4 million. Okay. 230 million is what we're at. Okay. Now we need a $40 million investment to get this plant in Germany going. Okay, great. So 40 million is there. We're now down to $190 million. Nikola 1, Nikola 2 are expected to hit the market in 2023. These trucks are expected to be manufactured in Coolidge, Arizona, where Nikola will build a shiny new manufacturing facility. Okay. Cost of a manufacturing plant. Cost of a car manufacturing plant. Not to run one, to build one. Cost of building car manufacturing plant. A lot. The best answer that can be given is a lot. Okay, so Toyota and Mazda are looking to build an automotive assembly plant in 2017. $1.6 billion. $1.6 billion is what that would have cost. Okay, so granted, it probably will not be this size of plant. So $1.6 billion may be a bit much. 10 billion, 200 million, 1 billion. So I don't know how realistically they've priced this development of this new plant, and I think what they're counting on, what VTIQ is counting on, is the initial sales for their initial sales of the Tray 3. They're hoping that this electric vehicle from Germany is going to create enough of an income for them that they'll be able to build this plant to build the 1 and 2. That still hasn't addressed the issue of infrastructure. It still has not addressed the issue of how in the world are you going to get the trucking industry as it currently exists to buy into a company that is Germany based in the US when Tesla is your direct competitor for new market share. They have addressed none of these issues, okay? So, but in the world of fairy tales and amazing things, yeah, $1 billion for one in China. So I like whatever it is. Like I can't. I think that they have egregiously underestimated the cost of this. Okay. Before jumping in, it's important to clarify the analysis excludes other revenues, which I believe is the appropriate course of action at this stage. Nikola is vertically integrated energy technology and sell other types of vehicles, such as sport vehicles. So they're looking at doing sport cars too. Okay. So here's their plan. They are planning to grow. This is what they need to do in order to be profitable. They need to double, and then they need to quadruple, and then they need to double. So they need to go from $150,000 in sales to $300,000 in sales. Is this in millions? Dollars and thousands. Yeah, so this is millions. They need $150 million in sales. Then they need $300 million. Then they need $1 billion in sales. Then they need almost $3 billion in sales. Who here sees these trucks picking up $3 billion in sales to break even? This is just to survive. This is not to be a sustainable company, to be a booming company that's making bank. This is just to survive what they currently have as expenditures in the market. This is insanity. There is no way, absolutely no way. There's none whatsoever. So, I mean, as far as the 230 million, they have to build a plant for less than $190 million. And that's if every penny that they have goes towards building that plant. The math doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. If all goes well, they have the potential to generate just a little under $3 billion in truck sales and revenue, which, as discussed above, would mean it takes to approximately 3 to 5. I have seen no evidence whatsoever that they will be able to acquire this market share that they're projecting. There is nothing here to indicate to me that the trucking industry is going to buy a new fleet of trucks that are overpriced compared to the diesel options or even the other competitor, who is a much more proven competitor. Okay? This is a huge deal, guys. This is a massive deal. And I cannot stress this enough. I absolutely cannot stress enough how much of a giant dog turd of a company this is. Please do not go anywhere near it. There is nothing here, nothing to indicate to me that over 4 years, they have the ability to make any kind of a market share push into the US. This is a business that is prepping itself to fail, and it is a pump and dump stock. You will get burned. Please stay away. I don't give you financial advice. The due diligence was here. I hope you guys can see that. If you missed it, go back and watch the rerun. We've been at this for over an hour here. Okay, guys? This is scary stuff. The 100 million shares. The 100 million shares is at the top in the risks. It's saying that when they do combine, they will be putting 100 million shares into the market. They will be saying, here you go, market, have at it. I wouldn't touch it. I like don't play puts. Don't go near it. This thing is a dog turd. And nice, Brad. The biggest concern that I saw in all of the risks, so in the 20 pages of risks that we read through, the two biggest ones for me were we can buy whatever we want and you can't stop us. Shareholders have no voting rights whatsoever. And two, we're not holding annual meetings. Tough. This is what's happening, whether you like it or not as a shareholder. And the NASDAQ may delist us as a result of that decision. So before they've even come towards a merger, the NASDAQ has the ability to delist them on grounds of they didn't hold an annual meeting. Is it legal? It's in the filing, so we'll see. But the reality is, I don't see as a business model any way that this produces those sales. Even on the basis of them getting the 5 to 8% market share that they want, the market is down 20%. So what used to be 5 to 8% is now only worth 2.25 to 5 or 4%, right? It's not enough. It's not enough to get them there, even if they could steal that market share away from Tesla. And they can't. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's no infrastructure built for it in the US. Tesla is not going to give them access to theirs. There's no way in hell Elon's going to give that to them as a direct competitor. He doesn't need to. He can completely kill their business model by saying, screw you, you can't have it. There is no numbers anywhere in their prospectus filing, anywhere in their 10K saying this is what the cost of infrastructure is going to be in the US. If the truckers cannot stop to get fuel, they cannot fuel up, they cannot charge up, then your truck is absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. If you have to pick between the two guys, in closing, I am not a huge fan of any of these. I'm not a huge fan of, that's a total rip on Cyberpunk. I'm not a huge fan of electric vehicles, especially in the trucking industry. But if you are going to play, do your due diligence. I would not want to be this company going up against Tesla because they are lacking too many key pieces of the puzzle. First and foremost, they've never built a vehicle ever. It's all hypothetical right now. They've never sold a vehicle anywhere in the world. These vehicles have not been tested in US conditions. They are shipping and building these from Germany, which includes a huge increase on the cost. I see no sign or indication that they can afford to build a manufacturing plant for these vehicles. They cannot afford to build the infrastructure around those vehicles in order to service them or to fuel them up. And they have to steal 5 to 8% market share in a declining industry that is saving their pennies. And you've got a top competitor in Tesla. In closing, dear TVIQ bag holders, please run for the hill after you've seen this. Make your own due diligence. Dive into it. The accusation that the 10K filing wasn't read, there it is, read out loud for you guys so you can see the issues that I had with it. The massive amounts of debt that must be incurred in order for this company to be able to function over the next 4 years is staggering. Expect to see stock splits, share offerings aplenty. The fact that the stock is moving up right now is a scary sign because they are just holding their breath to see how high you guys are going to take this dump. And then they are going to rip it down and squeeze as much money out of it as they can. Please, guys, do your due diligence. That's it for me. My rant's done. I'm done being an old man.
go get ready for Stocky. Get ready for the market today, guys. I'm sorry I didn't get around to AAL. My shift here is done, though. My throat is gone. I need to grab some coffee. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful. If you guys aren't subscribed, do that, whether you're over on YouTube or whatever. If this is helpful for you guys, I always appreciate you sharing out these videos. If you missed anything, the rerun is about to roll. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning, 4:30 a.m. See you then.